Hello and welcome to section 3 of the course and the beginning of the main part of this course, which is Ruby on Rails. Ruby on Rails, or Rails for short, is a web application development framework. This was developed by David Heinemeier Hansson. You can read up about David, or DHH as he's known in the community for short, by checking out his page at david.heinemeierhansson.com. He created Rails basically in the early to mid 2000s, where he extracted a lot of classes and libraries that he was using again and again. Now, Rails has come a long way since then and has one of the most vibrant communities out there. It's completely open source, so there are no barriers to getting started. The community is very helpful and there are meetups everywhere. You can check up on the Ruby meetups by simply going to Google and checking for Ruby meetups, or ruby.meetup.com is also a good resource for it. So why is Rails so good and easy? Like I said, it's because of the community. Basically, people contribute code from all over the world, and most are open source, hosted on GitHub or other code repositories. Okay? For example, if I go to github.com and over here, if I type in devise, check out this gem. This is completely open source, and this is an authentication gem that's available to use in any application that you create. It's completely open source, it's free to use, and has all these instructions on how to use it. And that's what I mean about the community and the support. So how are these grouped? They're grouped and saved in these repositories, and the way you use them is by installing the gem. Okay, so basically this code is grouped into a gem, and that's a term you'll use quite often, and they're hosted in this site called rubygems.org. So if you search for devise in this rubygems.org site, you will see there it is, and you simply add the gem to any application that you have, and it makes this powerful authentication tool available to your application. And similarly, there are thousands and thousands of gems out there that you can add to your application. And that makes development, or getting started with development, very easy. And as you can see, it has very good documentation on this. Now, not all gems will have documentation this good, but at least you get the picture. So let's take a look at another gem, okay? So I'm going to look for Bootstrap gem Rails and take a look at all these gems. Over here we have Bootstrap-SAS gem, and you can see this has documentation also, and this is a front-end UI gem that basically makes developing the front end of your application super easy. It makes the entire Bootstrap library available for your application. And to install it to your application, you simply include these two gems, and that's it. And you can always check the updated date to see how well they're supported. Okay? So that's a sneak peek into what makes Rails what it is. And I would recommend going to this site, rubygems.org, and just take a look at it. It is unbelievable the amount of gems that are available to do different functions and add them to your application. Now, at least in the beginning of this course, we'll build most of our code from scratch, so we won't need to rely on gems that much, but once you know how to build them from scratch, later on, you can add the gems to make things easy for you. Has other links too, it has guides, and basically is a very good resource to read up on. Okay? Now going back to our Ruby on Rails org site, one of the most famous applications of all started with Rails is Twitter. And there are also a lot of high profile examples such as Twitter, which started with Rails. So what Rails does is it takes away the initial barriers to web app development. Okay? It neatly arranges every aspect of your application, which we will explore in a couple of videos, very easy. All right. So with that, we come to your first assignment, which is for you to explore this site, rubyonrails.org. because you need to get familiar with Rails in general. And this site has many useful links. For example, right here, if you're just getting started, want to learn more about Rails, check out the Rails guides. And when you go to Rails guides, it brings you here. It walks you through building a simple Rails application, a starter application. It walks you through models. It walks you through a lot of other things. So your assignment is to read through this as much as you can through the different links. You're not going to need to download Rails because our IDE already comes with it. There's some information on deploying, bugs, patches, screencast tutorials, then documentation, then the community. You can join mailing lists. Then you can read about the Rails core team. Then also this blog link, which is very important, okay? This has all the latest news and updates going on in the Rails world. And I would recommend just, skimming through this, reading some of the articles and the links, and basically getting yourself familiar with the Rails world. Now, total at this time, I would just say spend 2 to 3 hours getting yourself familiar with Rails and all these links that I discussed. Nothing more, okay? You're not needed to absorb any of this. Just get familiar, okay? And that's it for this video. I'll see you in the next one.